You earn £70,000 a year. On paper, you have made it. You are in the top tier of earners in this entire country. You did everything they told you to do. You studied hard. You took the promotion. You said yes to the extra responsibility, the longer hours, the bigger job. And yet, on any quiet morning in 2026, the moment the direct debits clear, you glance at your bank balance and feel a strange, cold confusion. Because your account looks almost identical to the person earning £30,000 less than you. You have not failed. You have done nothing wrong. You have simply entered the danger zone. Welcome to the new reality of the British middle class. This is the story of the professional mirage, the illusion that a big salary still buys you a comfortable life. Today we are going to break down, pound by pound, exactly why the people who look the most successful are so often the ones with the least breathing room. And more importantly, we are going to show you the manual override. Let us start with the number that actually matters. Not your gross salary, the glossy figure printed on the contract, but your net. What genuinely lands in your account at the end of the month? The gap between those two numbers is where your life used to be. For a professional household, three forces sit between gross and net, and together they behave like an invisible ceiling. The first is HMRC, the second is national insurance, and the third, the one nobody warns the graduates about, is the student loan. Here is the part that stings. Once your income climbs past £50,270, every additional pound you earn is taxed at 40%. Add 2% of national insurance on top of that. Then, if you are still carrying a graduate loan, add another 9%. Suddenly, a pay rise that was meant to reward you is being skimmed at roughly 51% before it ever reaches your account. You are not imagining it. At this altitude, you keep less than half of your own success. The raise looked enormous on the letter. In your bank, it barely registered. Here is the way to picture it. Earning a professional salary in Britain today is like living at the very top of a mountain. Statistically, you are at the peak. Everyone below looks up and assumes the view from there must be wonderful. And it is. But the financial air at this height is incredibly thin. Down at the base of the mountain, the air is thick and heavy and easy to breathe. Every breath comes for free. But up here, every single movement costs you. A summer holiday, a school trip, a new winter coat for a child who has grown out of the old one. Each one demands an enormous, deliberate gasp of effort. You are higher than almost everyone else in the country, and you are constantly, quietly, out of breath. Now we arrive at the cruelest mechanism of all, the success tax. The government has built a series of invisible cliffs into the system, points where earning more money actively makes you poorer. We call these the taper zones. The first is the infamous 60% tax trap. Once your adjusted net income crosses £100,000, HMRC begins to strip away your personal allowance. That first £12,570 you were allowed to earn tax-free. It is removed £1 for every £2 you earn, until it disappears completely at £125,140. Inside that band, your effective tax rate hits 60%. Earn a bonus there, and the state takes £6 out of every 10. The second cliff is the child benefit charge. The moment the higher earner in a family passes £60,000, the government begins clawing back your child benefit until it is gone entirely at £80,000. Do you see the trap now? The government looks at your payslip and decides you are rich enough to lose your allowances, your child benefit, your support. But the market looks at you and sees average. It charges you the full price for the nursery place, the full price for the family home, the full price for everything. You are taxed like the wealthy and priced like the ordinary, both at the same time. This is exactly why the middle-class family, in 2026, has become a stretched rubber band. Picture one, pulled tight. It looks sleek, high-performing, impressive. From the outside, everything about this household signals success. But that band is stretched to its absolute limit. There is zero give left in it. No slack, no spare centimetre anywhere in the budget. And that is the danger, because when a rubber band has no give left, it does not stretch to absorb a shock, it snaps. A minor legal fee, a pet emergency at the vet, a boiler that dies in the middle of January. For a family lower down the mountain, these are problems to be managed. For the stretched professional household, they are breaking points. There are no shock absorbers left at the top. Nowhere is this clearer than in the home counties, where so many of these professional households have planted themselves. Consider what a family here pays simply to exist before they have bought a single pint of milk. The mortgage, anchored now for a typical 5-year fixed deal at around 5%, the rail fare into the city, the council tax, the insurance premiums, which have climbed relentlessly and refuse to come back down. Stacked together, these fixed costs behave like a subscription to existence. And for many of these households, that subscription now runs to £3,000 a month before any actual living has even begun. And here is the quiet insult buried inside it. Council tax and insurance premiums have outpaced professional wage growth by roughly 15% since 2023. Your salary went up. The cost of simply standing still went up faster. Which means your elite salary has quietly become a pass-through account, a place your money briefly visits on its way to your lenders and the Treasury. And then there is the final squeeze, the psychological one. You look at your neighbour. Their car is newer. Their kitchen has just been renovated. Their holidays look effortless on your screen, and you lie awake wondering what on earth they know that you don't. Here is what you never see. You are comparing your behind the scenes, the anxious late-night sums, the declined transaction, the quiet dread, the moment the direct debits clear, against their carefully financed highlight reel. That newer car is very often on a lease. That renovated kitchen is on borrowed money. The comparison is not merely unhelpful, it is an iron cage, and you built every bar of it yourself. So what actually works? How do you escape the danger zone? You stop obsessing over your salary, and you start mastering your margin. The single most powerful move available to a squeezed professional is to take control of one number: your adjusted net income. This is the figure HMRC uses to decide whether you fall into the trap zones, and, crucially, you are allowed to lower it, legally, deliberately, on purpose. By directing money into a SIP through salary sacrifice, a self-invested personal pension, you reduce the very income the government is permitted to measure. A professional hovering just above £60,000 can use pension contributions to drop back below the child benefit cliff and reclaim the whole benefit. A high earner sitting near £100,000 can sacrifice their way clean out of the 60% trap and rescue their personal allowance. You are not hiding money. You are simply moving it into your own future, instead of handing it to the Treasury today. And sitting alongside the SIP is the ISA, the shelter where your growth, your interest, and your gains are protected from tax entirely, year after year. This is the whole shift, from climbing ever higher up a mountain that only thins the air, to quietly building your own private supply of oxygen. For most of the last century, being middle class in Britain meant safety, a safe harbour, a place you could finally reach, drop anchor, and relax. That harbour is gone. In 2026, the middle class is no longer a destination, it is a mathematical tightrope. And the higher you climb the income ladder, without changing your strategy, the thinner the air becomes, and the tighter the rope is pulled beneath you. Real freedom does not come from earning one more pound at the top of the mountain, where the state is already waiting to prune 60% of it away. It comes from the moment you stop climbing and start building your own oxygen reservoir, assets, a SIP, an ISA, wealth quietly compounding inside structures the government cannot reach in and trim. So stop trying to breathe the thin air at the peak. Start building the reserve that lets you breathe anywhere. If this video helped, don't forget to like and hit subscribe. See you in the next one.